Okay, pull out your questions for Dulce Est Decorum Est by Wilfred Owen. So stanza 2. How does the poet create a sense of urgency to the reader? And again, you're just looking at the print. This isn't the way it's being read. So you'll notice 3 exclamation marks that Owens uses. You'll also notice his choice of words which create urgency, such as fumbling, yelling, stumbling, floundering, and drowning. The first stanza describes the men who have been hit or who are already dying. So it is necessary that urgency is created just to kind of depict what is happening. So number 2, Owens addresses you, the reader, in this stanza because he wants the reader to be a character involved in this horrific war. Remember, Owens did serve in the British Army, so he does have an interesting portrayal of war. Also, by stepping in the speaker's shoes, the reader can get a more accurate feel of what's happening. Number 3, Owens uses horrific images from war. What effect does this have? So we talked about this in class, but even if going to war is heroic, there's a reason why soldiers are praised and celebrated. We know war can be brutal, gruesome, horrifying. A lot of times, veterans aren't enthusiastic or eager about discussing their portrayals of war freely. And I think that's just something to keep in mind because Owen does use these horrific images, and maybe the reader hasn't been exposed to these terms because sometimes veterans don't always go into this detail. So for the after reading, you may have drawn a picture, or you may have just wrote down what images came to mind and then use supporting documentation from the poem on this side. So your images or what comes to mind would be here, and then your support from the poem is here. So images that come to mind for me, may have been different for the physical landscape. So quotes that accompany this or support it are coughing like hags, cursed through sludge, began to trudge, lost their boots, death, gas shells dropping. So those notes really paint a picture in my mind of what is happening.